right, this is lesson 2.1, variables and data. Goal today is to be able to classify data by type as qualitative or quantitative, and within the category of quantitative data, we have both discrete and continuous data. Over the past few weeks, through Hamilton Remix, we assessed the practicality of a proposed business plan. In other words, we conducted a feasibility study. A few benefits of doing this type of study early on include, from the given source, assessing resources, so cataloging the current resources available and the need for additional resources, such as your location and your finances and your potential customers. And then marketing feasibility, so determining whether the market is already oversaturated with stronger competitors. So we did that. In order to appropriately display the data, we must first organize the data. So one thing that was really nice is we used Google Forms, and Google Forms took all of our data and put that into graphs for us, and we're going to look further into creating graphs ourselves. A characteristic that varies from one person or thing to another is called a variable. Tricky. Examples include, well, there's two types. I'll let you guys come up with the examples. There's qualitative data, qualitative variables, and quantitative. Can anyone give me an example of a qualitative variable? Go ahead. Right, it's something that distinguishes different qualities in things. I'll give you, Evan?
How interested are you in X being an example?
Okay. Depending on how you want the responses, that could be a possibility. Hair color is a qualitative variable. Anything else come to mind? Jessica? Okay, whether or not you wear glasses. Steven? Eye color. Good. What's your homeschool? Did you have one, Chris?
So is it just like facts or so it's facts or just
Attributes that can be answered with a word or a category instead of a number. Because quantitative is where we would give a response with a number. The number of pets you have. Good. Anybody think of another one?
How much money you have?
Ooh. Your net worth. How much money you have. Anything else?
how fast as you can run?
Okay. I'm just going to say mile time, just so we can make that something measurable and specific. Fastest mile time. So there are two types of quantitative variables. There's discrete, and then there's continuous. So a discrete variable is a variable whose possible values can be listed. So even though the list may continue indefinitely, such as a count of something, such as the number of siblings, the number of cars that you own, the number of students in the class, the number of dollars that you have to your name, you could give a number for those different things. It would be something you can count. A continuous variable is a variable whose possible values form some interval of numbers such as a, yes, a measure of something. Like the height of a person, the weight of a newborn baby, the length of time your cell phone battery will last. So when you think about the length of time that your cell phone battery will last, it could be a variety of different lengths of time between maybe 8 and 9 hours. You can break that down into minutes and then seconds and then tenths of a second. And that's a measure of something where there's a continuum versus a specific counting number, as with discrete variables. With a flow chart here, you can fill in the diagram, try and take a minute to fill in this flow chart using discrete, continuous, qualitative, quantitative, and variable. What goes at the top? Nicely done. Anybody know what goes in this box to the left? Qualitative. And to the right? Good, quantitative. And then to the bottom left? Discrete, right. These could go in either order. And nailed it. Great job. It kind of helps us organize those terms, make sense of them, and a little flow chart. To the back. Each individual piece of data is called an observation. And the collection of all observations for a particular variable is called a data set. So, for examples, for the variables listed below, write the term that best describes the situation. Qualitative, discrete quantitative, or continuous quantitative. So in a marathon, the finishing time. Raise your hand if you know the finishing time.
It's like 2 hours and 3 minutes.
That is a possible finishing time, yes. Can you tell me which variable that might be? Which, so qualitative is like describing the qualities or attributes of something. It is quantitative. Kate, do you know which one? So time is the measure of something, so it's actually, it's continuous quantitative. We are failing forward today. Quantitative is how we learn. I will say this is the hardest part, is figuring out which one is which by looking at an example. Continuous quantitative. One moment, please. Hello? Yes. Yes. Thank you. All right, B. Odysseus.
Is that quality?
You are correct.
I bet I know next time.
I bet you'll be right.
Place of finish. Kate, you got it. Discrete. Quantitative. Number 2, the height of the world's highest waterfalls. Love going to see some waterfalls. The height. Just Cleena. It is continuous quantitative. It's the measure of something. Number 3, the number of people listed per household for a variety of types of housing options. The number of people. Logan? It is not qualitative. It is one of the 2 quantitatives. Do you want to take a stab at which one? Yes, good. Discrete quantitative. If we can assign a number to the answer, it is quantitative. Think of quantity. And finally, number 4, thinking of our blood drive coming up in just a month from now, a month and a week. Blood types. Is that quantitative or qualitative?
No.
7.
Maddie, you got it. And this concludes our notes from section 2.1.